months ago, I called for the scrapping of international T20 cricket. 1 month later, I again renewed that call. And for the third time in less than a year, I am making that call again to the International Cricket Council that international T20 need to be scrapped. Hello everyone and welcome to the show. Please slash a like on the video, click on the subscribe button in the bottom right hand corner. If you need some wonderful home decor, please click the Mojo Boutique link in the video descriptions. Over the past 5 years or so, we have seen a proliferation of T20 crickets on the global scale. Now, 10 can readily come to mind, including the biggest of those, which is the IPL, followed by the CPL. With over 500 million viewers last year, the CPL is the second most watched T20 franchise cricket tournament in the world. Tournaments like the 100 in England should be packaged and thrown in the rubbish bin. Just my opinion. We have noticed recently that the IPL teams are purchasing franchise cricket teams all over the world. Teams like the Mumbai Indians have owned 5 different franchises in different parts of the world. This was started by the Calcutta Knight Riders, who first purchased the Trinidad Tobago Knight Riders in our own CPL, and then other franchises continues that trend, decided to follow that trend, and we see where the Barbados is now owned by the Rajasthan Royals, and the St. Lucia is now owned by the Punjab Kings. These IPL teams are taking over franchise cricket all over the world and have their own plan. But now, where does these franchise teams get that money from to be purchasing all these teams all over the world? Because here lies the crux of the matter. This is why international cricket is under threat and is on a collision course with T20 franchise cricket. And that is why I'm calling for the International Cricket Council to scrap T20 internationals. First, let us look at what the IPL teams are doing. They are purchasing, as I said, franchise T20 teams all over the world. Now, where do they get that money from? Now, I'm going to show you a chart. In the EPL, which is the English Premier League, who earns approximately $11 million per match. A match day revenue in the EPL is approximately $11 million per match. 71% of that money goes towards the players. So the money in the EPL, in the English Premier League, 71% goes towards the players. The NBA in the United States of America, 50% of all the money that they make goes towards the players. In the IPL, only 18% of the almost $4 million that the IPL is making per match goes towards the players. Only 18%. That means IPL teams are rotten rich. Let's take a closer breakdown. Look, for instance, at the media rights value for the IPL. The media rights value for the IPL is $6.2 billion. $6.2 billion US dollars. The BCCI gets 15% of that. And I told you before, the players only get 18%. For logistical expense such as transportation, hotels, accommodation, meals, and other non-playing staffs, all of those other expenses adds up to roughly 15% of the $6.2 billion. That means they're only, from that $6.2 billion, $2.96 billion goes toward the BCCI players and logistic expense. Therefore, the teams make a profit, a whopping profit of $2.224 billion, which works out to 322 million US dollars per team. That is where the money is coming from in the IPL so that they can purchase these teams all over the world. Now, the ICC, as I said in an earlier show, it's on the homepage, that over the next 5 years, the ICC will be playing 777 international matches. And when I broke it down, I show you that they have to complete these 777 international matches in just about 100 weeks. When you take out all the gaps that are in it, it will be only about 100 weeks. They are clearly on a collision course with these powerful IPL franchise owners. And as Brandon McCullum said, we would be completely naive to think that players would turn down huge amount of money for a lot less work because they should be playing international cricket. Those days are fast approaching to be over. So what is the fix to the problem? And you and I, we will never turn down money to think that because of pride and patriotism, we are going to turn down money to represent our national teams. Most of us, the largest majority of us, will not turn down money, legitimate money. If we have a choice to play T20 cricket and have a choice to play for our nation, and the money in the T20 league is greater than that to play for our nation, and the work in the T20 league is shorter than when we are playing for our nation, we are going to choose the T20 franchise cricket competition. Therefore, Brandon McCullum said we would be completely naive to think that players would turn down huge amount of money for a lot less work because they should be playing international cricket. Those days are fast approaching to be over. Here is my fix. Here is what I'm proposing to the International Cricket Council. The first thing you have to do is to scrap T20 international cricket. I am not saying scrap the World Cup. The T20 World Cup will continue to be played every 2 years. But just like in football, where the teams come together, you have players playing for different football teams all over the world. And when the national team is to play a match, you call them up, you assemble them 3 to 5 days before the match, and they go and play in these different competitions, whether the nation leagues, the World Cup, or whatsoever, the European League, the South American League. That's how it is done in football. So I'm saying the first thing I have on the agenda is to scrap T20 international cricket and let the World Cup remain. Scrap T20, but let the T20 World Cup play every 2 years. The second thing that they need to do is to make ODI a 2 innings affair. And so you create a somewhat of a T20 environment in making one-day internationals at 25 overs per team for 2 innings. That's the second thing. So you're going to make ODI a 2 innings affair. A team bat 25 overs, then the other team bat 25 overs, and then the first team comes back and back 25 overs, and the second team comes back and back the next 25 overs. Make one-day internationals a 2 innings affair. So scrap T20 internationals, but keep the World Cups. Make one-day internationals a 2 innings affair, so you will done away with 2 new balls being bowled per innings. You will only have 1 new ball now per innings. So I make them a 2 innings affair. Therefore, there will be only 25 overs per innings, and creating that T20 field international environment. The third thing that the International Cricket Council needs to do to prevent this collision course with T20 franchise cricket, to prevent our best players going to T20 franchise cricket and not representing the nations because there's a clash. The third thing they need to do is to create windows. They need to create windows. Earlier this year, we saw we have 4 T20 tournaments were taking place at the same time between January and February, between December and February across Australia, South Africa, in the UAE, and in Bangladesh. 4 T20 franchise cricket competitions were taking place at the same time. Therefore, my suggestion, my third suggestion to the International Cricket Council is to scrap T20. The third suggestion is to create a window. And they can create windows at different times in the year. For example, you could create a window between the middle of November and say the middle of February for international cricket. And let the T20 franchise cricket play from the middle of February through to the end of May, which is happening here in the IPL T20, in the IPL. So I'm saying create clear windows. These windows will take a little bit of work because you have different seasons in different countries and you have to adapt. But once you create clear windows, so you can have 3 separate windows for T20 to play each year and 3 separate windows for international cricket to be played each year. That way, it will prevent the clashes and you will always have the best players representing their countries. And at the same time, these players will be allowed to go and earn as much money as they want. Now, for example, if like this year, you have 4 T20 franchise cricket competition taking place in January. Let the market determine the best one. Don't worry about saving any. Let the market remain the best one. So my 3 suggestions to the ICC to prevent a clash between these players who are now will be offered big year-round contracts by these IPL teams. So like the Mumbai Indians will probably give Jafra Archer, the figure that you're banding about is $9 million for 1 year, and Jafra Archer will represent all the Mumbai Indians team for the year. And if England want Jafra Archer to play, because Jafra Archer will now turn down the retainer contract that England is giving him. Because the retainer contract that England is probably giving Archer is probably about 1 million or 800,000 pounds. Jafra Archer will not accept that contract. And I'm just using Jafra Archer as an example. He will take that 9 million from the IPL team and represent all the franchises for that IPL team. So if England wants Jafra Archer to play, they will have to ask the Mumbai Indians permission. That's where it is going. So for this to be prevented, the 3 things that I'm suggesting is 1, scrap T20 internationals but keep the World Cup played every 2 years. 2, make ODI a 2 innings affair with 25 overs per team, thereby creating a T20 environment. And 3, create clear windows each year when franchise cricket should be played and when international cricket to be played. Thank you all for tuning in. Please slash a like on the video and click on that Mojo link. Click on that Mojo Butui link in the video description. Good morning, Brian H. Good morning. Godfrey Davis. IPL makes top money, but that will never happen. Why do you think it will not happen, Godfrey Davis? If the IPL teams are going to contract these top players for the year, if they're going to contract these top players for the year, I show you where the IPL teams per teams are making. They are making over $300 million from media rights alone. They are flush with money because despite the amount of money that these guys are making in the IPL is still paying them cheap. It's still paying them cheap to the amount of money that the IPL is making. So these guys are really not earning the amount that they should have been earning from the IPL. And maybe a players' union can start look into that. Why will it never happen, Godfrey Davis? Don't come and tell me that it will never happen without telling me why it will never happen. So you would scrap the cricket that makes the most money for the board. Sheldon, I am aware of that. But what will happen is that the cess that coming in from these T20 franchise cricket competition, two ways they're going to make money. The ICC is going to increase the cess that these T20 franchise cricket are paying the national board. So they're going to increase the cess. So if that cess is presently at 5%, because you do know that, for example, when West Indies players go to play in the IPL and these other T20 franchise cricket all over the world, the governing board from which that player is coming from will get a cess for that player. You do know. So that cess will be increased. So if that cess is probably now 5%, you'll probably increase it to 10%. The second thing, because you're going to turn the ODI in a 2 innings affair, where there's 25 overs per innings for over 2 innings, you are going to create that T20 environment, and one day international cricket is going to start making more money as a result of this, Sheldon. You got me? Got you. You got me. T20 is a cash cow, so they will never do that. Well, I just answered that question, Mr. Casanova. I thought of that. What should be done? Players must be released for national duty. I told you. Here's a quote from Brendan. Here's a quote. I just gave you the quote from no others than Brandon McCullum. Here's what Brandon McCullum said. I read it. We would be completely naive. Brandon McCullum used the word there, naive, because he doesn't want to say you'll be a complete idiot. So he used the politically correct word by saying naive. But what he's really doing is using the F word and say you are F idiots if you think that players are going to turn down huge amount of money. So he used a political correct term to say naive. Sheldon, we would be naive, would be completely naive to think these players are going to turn down a lot of money. The example that was cited was Sam Curran. Sam Curran retained a contract for England is less than $500,000. Sam Curran. So England retained Sam Curran for 1 year for $500,000. But his IPL franchise, the Punjab's King, is paying him $1.8 million for 2 months of cricket. Which would you choose? And that is why Brandon McCullum and many of us think that it would be naive to think that these players are going to choose country over financial security. Would be naive. And that is why when you create a clear window, 3 windows per year for T20 franchise cricket, 3 windows per year for international cricket, there'll be no clash. It will take some workout, it will take some logistical workout, but it can happen. If we really want it to happen, it will happen. It will take some, it's not straightforward, especially the windows, but it can happen. T20 cricket here to stay. It is all about money. ICC will be silent. They benefit, but they will not change cricket rules to hurt them. Teams like the West Indies, money. Petrus Francis, I understand all of that. But if you listen to the commentary, you understand that I set out a clear plan where they will still earn money. Because ICC earns money from their tournaments. They do not earn money from T20 internationals like between New Zealand and the West Indies, or between the West Indies and India. And in fact, West Indies only earn money from T20 internationals when they play like in Florida. So the money that a country like the West Indies is earning from T20 internationals would dwarf what they will get from a cess, if the cess should increase on the number of players who they have playing in these franchise cricket tournaments all over the world. Now, the thing about it, as I said, World Cups will continue. And that is where the ICC really makes their money from T20 cricket, the World Cup. And so these will continue. Good morning, Atina. Bobby Burns, welcome to the show. I would not scrap it all together. Players and their board must work out a plan. Franchise cricket will not trump international cricket. International cricket has set the baseline for 100 years now. Bobby Burns, I will say to you again, you are naive if you think that these players are going to turn down these lucrative contracts to play for their national teams. We are naive. Good morning, Dylan John. Good morning. How are you doing? Oh, Paul is well with you, boss. Yes, Dylan John, thank you for that comment. I appreciate. Thank you for being here. Thank you for being here. Appreciate it. Football was born on club grounds. Cricket was born at international level. We can't gauge them the same. But there's what you call natural projection, Bobby Buns. Natural projection. Which one of the was it Ericsson? I don't remember if it was Ericsson who spoke about natural progression. There's evolution of the game. There's evolution of the game, Bobby Buns. And that is why I think that we will soon see, if we are not careful and if we do not put things in place, and even if we do not scrap international T20, there must be scheduling. There must be clear scheduling even if we do not scrap T20 international. I prefer international cricket these days than franchise game. Mr. Casanova, I can't blame you. Because I, for one, I find the IPL very, very boring. This 12 person per team playing an 11-a-side game is very boring. There's no tactics. It takes away from the tactics when you have 12 persons playing an 11-a-side game. The IPL, it is drawn out, it is long, and that is one of the reasons why I think that if you create a clear window for these games, and I think that, for example, if the Pakistan Super League was going on right now, I think that it would have challenged the IPL for viewership. Because the IPL is boring. There's a lot of money in it. Of course, the players are making a good living from the IPL. And they have marketed the tournament very well. But I find it to be boring. I find it to be too drawn out. Honestly, I'm telling you the truth. Just like the 100. The 100 need to be binned and thrown away. Golf is having the same issue, such as Live Golf. That is true, Atina. We are having these issues. And we must, because there's an evolution, we must be progressive. We must see things before they happen. And that is why I'm saying to the International Cricket Council, one, create clear windows for international cricket and franchise cricket separately. Two, turn ODIs into a 2 innings affair, 25 overs per team. And three, scrap T20 cricket. You may not want to scrap it totally, but my suggestion right now is to scrap it and move from there. Sheldon, what happened when there are no West Indians being well paid in franchise cricket? The cess you talk about will be insignificant. No, Sheldon, there'll be always West Indians playing, because despite what, we still have some of the top cricketers in the world. We still rank in the top 10. So that means we have high quality cricketers that are among the best 200 in the world. And these franchise cricket competition, they will need players. They will need players. Because if, for example, this year, January, when you have 4 T20 franchise cricket competition taking place at the same time, and 4 nines is 36, that over 360 players needed. There will always be franchise cricket for West Indies players. I am a very optimistic person, Sheldon. I am not pessimistic. Please slash a like on the video and click on that subscribe button in the bottom right corner. Check out the links of Mojo Boutique for some fine furniture. If you want to add to that decor in your house with some very unique and special handmade pieces, check out the Mojo Boutique link in the video description. Coming up at 11 a.m. Jamaica time, 12 p.m., 12 noon in the Eastern Caribbean, Desmond Haynes will be speaking to the media. I'm hoping to bring that press conference live right here. So that's 11 a.m. Jamaica time when Desmond Haynes will be speaking, is expected to speak to the media. I'm hoping to bring that press conference live right here on the Cricket Forum. Second thing, and on a very sad note, the gentleman who did the reaction to the press conference with me Friday, that's it, the press conference involving Cricket West Indies president, vice president, the CEO, and Jimmy Adams. The gentleman who did the reaction, on a very sad note, his mother passed away yesterday. So my condolences to the gentleman, Juna Codlin. I sympathize with you. I honestly do not know how to express how I feel right now, but I sympathize with you, and I pray that you will get through this. You'll get through this. God will give you the strength to get through this. So the gentleman, Juna Codlin, he lost his mother, and I sympathize with him. I express my condolences to his family and to his friends. Sad to say, but this is a political issue with Saudi Arabia playing the best hand. Okay, Athena, yes, for the golf, for the live golf. Saudi, Athena, he's just on every sport. He covers every sport. He's a sport. Come to the show, Breaker Environment. Thank you for tuning in. As I said, I'll be back just around 11 o'clock Jamaica time with that press conference. So for now, take care, one love, and have a great day.